Hello Scorpio, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Scorpio. There might have been some very recent changes within your home environment. So the physical property or the housing situation that you are either you were sharing space with a partner or just somebody that you were living with. And I feel for many of you, it's like a relationship partner either no longer being in the picture or they have recently moved out. And I see you kind of like going through your house, going through your apartment, going through your house, and you're just like looking at the nightstand or looking at the table or the dresser, and you're just like, so and so used to leave their stuff here, or you're finding, remnants of what they left behind. And I feel like, the reality of that situation dawns on you, and you just realize that, okay, they're no longer in the picture for whatever reason. They might have moved away, or you both might have ended a relationship. And they were a significant person in your life, because I feel like many of you have shared space with that person. And then for others of you who are, newly dating, if you have recently started dating, I feel like you're getting your house ready. You're getting your space ready so that you can invite another person in. I'm seeing some people, which is really not something I see for a lot of Scorpios. You tend to be very clean and neat and organized too. But I feel for some of you, you're changing things, rearranging things, doing massive cleaning up so that you can make the space ready to either entertain guests, entertain new romantic prospects, or, inviting somebody that you are newly dating into your environment. So you're trying to get the environment ready. I'm also feeling as well, for others of you who have recently, moved away from a relationship partner, or they have moved away from you. It seems to me as if your schedule, your routine, your financial situation heavily depended upon them upholding things. So for example, just an example, and I feel like during the midst of that relationship, you didn't realize all the things that they were doing behind the scenes. Okay, like cooking, cleaning, paying the bills, making sure the children are all fed and, tucking them into sleep. And now that the partner is no longer out of the picture, no longer in the picture, I feel some of you are re-examining your routine. Like you're just kind of overwhelmed by all the responsibilities, and you're just like, how did they manage to do it, and how did they do it for so long without complaining? And then how did I not see their contribution to the bigger picture? How did I not see everything that they were doing behind the scenes? So I feel for some of you, it's kind of like a bittersweet moment where you are kind of shaken or jolted awake, and you're realizing everything that this person has contributed in the past. And then I feel like for some of you too, the energy can be flipped over, where you did a lot of work behind the scenes, it was taken for granted, and now your partner, who is newly single, coming to realize that, oh wow, I did take that situation for granted. So I feel like a lot of clarity is coming in when it comes to relationships and who contributes what, and who's doing what for a relationship partner in order to maintain and sustain and build upon that relationship. So it's a bittersweet type of moment that I feel like it's going to be hitting you this month. And I feel like as a result of it, it's going to bring about a lot of information. It's going to bring a lot of new insights, and you're going to look at the relationship partner in a different light. Okay. And I feel like you're seeing them in a much better light. I'm also feeling as well for some of you, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to the people that you are associating with, this is something that I've always mentioned in the past for a lot of water signs, because it was very problematic for water signs. Boundary issues, associating yourself with, surround yourself with good, positive people. And then you will be able to get positive things, positive energies to come back to you. Surround yourself with people that are enlightened, that are, I want to say motivated, ambitious, and want to create something out of their own lives. And especially surround yourself with people who are truthful and honest so that you can have that same sense of, because energetically, when we interact with another person, it's an exchange of energy. So you want to surround yourself with good people so that you can manifest good things. Okay. And I feel like the people that might be around you, that you are associating with, I feel like they're not all that great, and they're a little bit on the self-serving end. And I feel like a big part of you knows this, but for whatever reason, you allow yourself to be stuck in that environment, and you allow yourself to cater to them, even though they're not great people. So I want you to just, be conscientious about who you surround yourself with, how you are spending your time. And especially if your free time is spent in the company of people who just coast through life, don't have a big sense of responsibility, don't have don't have a lot of accountability for their own behaviors as well. I feel like it's a poor way for you to waste your energy. It's also a poor way for you to waste your time, because time is very, very important to you. You like to be productive. You like to have a purpose, and you also like to have these deep emotional connections with people who are very profound, who can give you wisdom and insight. And so re-examining, who you hang out with, I feel is very crucial for you guys. And I'm seeing not only the younger people, but I'm also feeling like people who might be, in the later stages of their lives watching this. And I would urge you to, conserve your energy and willingly choose people that are good for you to be with, okay? Don't waste your time and don't waste your energy, especially if you're dealing with a lot of people that have, toxic, that have bad intentions, or they're not very great people to begin with, or they're just like, they're just drifting around, lacking a sense of direction, and you're just in it for the ride. I feel like it can really detract you from your life's purpose, and it can really scatter your energy in a way where you can't really manifest the right relationship partners, the right friendships into your life, okay? So they are really saying, like, out with the old, in with the new, and reorient yourself, all in the spirit of preparation for your major solar return that's happening on your birthday time, late October. This month is going to be a little bit challenging because you need to weed out the riffraff. You need to let things go, and you need to reorient yourself. Turn your back on some things and reorient yourself to the things that you really want and to the things that are good for you. So first of all, let me talk about friends. We have here the Three of Cups in the reverse position. This energy basically deals with gossip, it deals with slander, it deals with like falling outs with people, and it deals with a situation where you don't really, you might realize, you don't really have much in common with the people that you consider your friends. And it's linked up here with the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is a card about conflict. And usually it's kind of like, being attacked from multiple angles and not being able to defend ourselves, not being able to take care of responsibilities, not being able to, not feeling as if we are heard or if we are supported and emotionally nurtured. So I do feel in your friendship circle, this is becoming a little bit apparent, where you might realize that you're drifting apart. You don't have the same ideas of what fun and recreation means. And you might realize that you can't really have, deep-rooted, profound emotional connections or even emotional conversations with the people in your midst anymore. And as a result of it, I do feel like you feel like when you need them, when you call upon them, they're nowhere to be found. And yet you have spent a lot of energy and a lot of time to maintain the relationships. And to this point, when you truly need them, when you're kind of like all alone on this hill, fighting your own battles, the people that say they're going to be there, I feel like they're just nowhere in sight. So this is a major eye-opening experience. And the fact that this card came out at the very beginning of the spread basically indicates to me some major reassessment as it relates to your friendship circle, okay? The people you associated with, the people that you date, even for some of you, they might turn out to be duds. And so weeding them out early on is going to be very crucial, okay? Scorpios, you are highly intuitive and you all automatically know, like all of you, you automatically know what's good for me. What's you know what's good for me right now. Is it still good for me in the long run? You know all of these things. But I feel like once you have that emotional bond, and especially that shared history with another person, it's really hard for you to let them go because of that sense of loyalty, that sense of shared experiences, that bond that it might be one-sided. It might just be a lot more sentimental from your end rather than from their end. And so you have trouble letting these things go. For this month, I do feel a lot of responsibilities piling on, okay? This is a card overall of struggle. And it's like being very alone with your struggle, having to do things on your own, having to take care of all the practical responsibilities on your own. And as a result of it, you might not have time to socialize. You might not have time to really, invest in leisure activities, going out, gathering with friends, or even like dating. So I do feel the energy for this month is a little bit hectic. I also feel as well, we have here an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And for some of you, this person is, I'm feeling as if they are, I feel like this is somebody that you might have shared space with that I mentioned earlier. It's linked up here with the tower in the reverse. And this is usually some type of a home, some type of a dwelling, some type of a common living space that you have with another person. It shows up in the reverse position. And I do feel like there's going to be a little bit of conflict coming through with this person as it relates to, who's taking care of what? How are we taking care of responsibilities? And I feel like for some of you, this is somebody that you are living with. So an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, and there are some issues here as it relates to the living environment that you're going to have to deal with. They might as well, if you have shared children with them, like if you are, separated and you have children together, I feel like they're putting a lot more responsibility on you. They might restrict your movement in some way. If you are waiting for new job opportunities, new careers, that might take you outside of your geographical location. I feel like you're going to have a important conversation with this person, and especially if you have children, and they're going to get to have the final say, like, if you wanted to move and you have shared children, how is the custody situation going to work out? Are you allowed to make this move? Are you able to? And I feel a lot of it is contingent upon the approval, the decision from another person that you might have children with or you might have joint assets with. So I feel like on the one hand, you're ready to scrap away the past, everything that's problematic. You're turning your back. You're turning your back and you're looking out into the world. Where do I fit in? Where can I better apply my skills? Where can I make better traction for myself professionally, financially, and just romantically as well? And I do sense like the people that you were dealing with, there might have been this person as a relationship partner who's very honest, who's very clear, and who's really intelligent, but the foundation is not really built with this person. And I do feel like this air sign, he or she might be incredibly independent. They come and go as they please, and their life is very transient. They're here today, gone the next day. And so they don't really have firm roots. They don't really have that sense of, I'll stay forever, that sense of stability that you're really looking for. So even though things might, pan out really well between the two of you, like physically and chemically, like you might have, very strong, intense chemistry with each other. It just feels like the foundation for a relationship is not really there, or the foundation for that home life is not really there. You're trying to make a move and they're kind of holding you back, okay? I don't feel like they're physically restraining you or I don't feel like they're needy to the point where they're begging you or asking you to stay. But I feel like it's saying, in order to get what you want, you need to make some sacrifices. You need to you can't step into new territory while you're inundated with baggage and things from the past and things from the old way of doing. So on the one hand, there's new opportunities for you. This is work. This is like really strong, great professional strides. Making a good impression, moving on with your professional life, having a lot of people that follow you, and especially leading others. So I feel like you're going to be put in a position where you are going to lead other people. You're going to create trailblaze. You're going to create some type of a path for other people to follow. And the job itself comes with a lot of responsibilities where you have to be, mentally and physically present in order to manage all of these things, because I feel like the responsibilities are piling on. The additional work responsibility, the additional demands of your work environment, and the additional, just like the income that's going to be associated with it too. It's overwhelmingly really prosperous. So things are starting to open up here. But you have some things from the past that you're not able to let go of here with the judgment card. It basically indicates new beginnings, but you have to sort out the details. You have to let go of the old, and you really have to work in concert with another person in order to sort out these things. And it feels as if the other person, they want what they want, and they want specific things from you. They're making specific demands, and it's going to take some time, I feel. At least it's going to happen. That's when you're going to sail on. That's when you're going to move away. I also feel for some of you with ex-partners as well. They're going to want to make a major change and transition in their life. I feel like for some of you, you have an ex that has started, that might be like getting remarried, that might bring another person into their lives, or they're moving away to be with a new person. And you're kind of looking at this like, on the one hand, you approve because you want what's best for them. But on the other hand, you're just like, I don't know how that's going to work out. So I feel like you're keeping some things to yourself and you're minding your own business. But at the same time, you don't feel like it's like the best course of action. You don't feel like it's you don't feel like it's going to work out, or secretly you might think like, I hope that doesn't work out, because that doesn't seem like a good arrangement. So we have a lot of things happening in the relationship sector. We have a lot of things happening for you guys as well in the financial and professional life. And I also feel as if you need to break away from these, these things that aren't working. It's been happening for quite some time. Family, the home environment needs to be revisited. So I'm seeing like this is an overturn of something, okay, like an overturn of something. So possibly having to clear up your space in some way because of inspections. So I feel, this might be like unexpected news. So for example, if you are a business owner, there might be some type of auditing. There might be some type of inspection that they're doing. It's very thorough. It's very deep. So you have to dig out all the information. You have to look at things from the foundation all the way to the top. So I feel like some of you might have to undergo that. And it seems like it seems as if you might be in front of, a group of people and you're defending yourself, for example, and they're asking you a lot of questions. They're asking you like, did this happen? Did that happen? In what time frame did it happen? In what chronological order? And I feel like you're having a lot of questions thrown at you. And I feel like this is indicative of some type of legal issue or some type of very deep-rooted investigation or some type of auditing that's coming into the picture. I feel that you're going to be honest. You don't have anything to hide here. It seems like you don't have anything to hide. But the energy of the people coming in is, I feel like they don't really, they might just put up a front that they don't trust you so that you're a little bit more critical or a little bit more careful about what you reveal to them. But I do sense that there's going to be like a panel of people, and then you're going to have to talk about all of these things. talk about, things in chronological order, talk about money as well, talk about assets, talk about what's being unearthed and what's being pulled out. So that's what I feel. Um, I don't know if there has been any changes in your housing environment, like if for example, you might have a piece of prime real estate, the city might want to purchase it. And so there might be a lot of construction within the home environment where you feel like there's a lot of noise, you feel like you can't bring people over because, there's no parking. There's some chaos here regarding the home environment. And I do see a lot of excavations, a lot of digging, mauling, unearthing, um, foundational fixes as well. So that's what we're dealing with. For those people, I'm seeing like possibly investigators or salesmen, because this is a card heavily about investigating. Somebody that holds their feelings really close to their chest and they're asking questions, but they're also being very, they scrutinize the information that comes through. So if you are at all in a capacity where you're doing like, asset recovery, investigation, or even like in the insurance business, I feel like you're going to be inundated with a lot of cases. And I feel that you're going to need to dig a little bit deeper to see if somebody is being truthful or honest, or to see if they are just giving you false information, like giving you the story that you want to hear, but not giving you the truth. Okay. So I feel like you're going to be tied up heavily with work for this month, Scorpios. So, needless to say, don't procrastinate. And I do see as well, I mentioned before, I feel like some of you, like, it's not normal for me to see a housing environment for a Scorpio that's unkempt and messy. You guys are generally very clean and neat and orderly. But I feel like that's where you need to focus your energy to fix your house, or to, clean up after yourself, because you might be very busy and things are just kind of like thrown astray, okay? So getting that in order is going to be very crucial for this month. I'm going to look at the notes here and see if there's anything else that is coming into the picture. They mention a property that has really high value. A property that has really high value. So I'm sensing if you have recently inherited a property, I feel like it has really appreciated in value. If you own a property right now, you might be surprised to find that it has really high value. And so if you're thinking about, I'm ready to move, I'm ready to like get a new change of scenery, look into getting your property appraised, because I feel like the property value is a lot more than what you initially bought it for, or it's really going to exceed your expectation when it comes to the money that you're going to be able to get back from it. So if you're looking to liquidate assets, if you're looking to just sell things and, start a new life for yourself, travel a little bit, that's going to be coming through. And if for some of you, I feel like there are going to be situations where you are physically traveling, and this is over water, so it's usually overseas, to meet people like a new boss, to be in a position where I feel like you're going to be in the spotlight, giving some type of talk, some type of seminar, some type of a conference, possibly heading some type of a conference. And I feel like it can lead to a very lucrative work assignment for you. It seems to me like it's contract based, possibly, 2-3 years contract based. But it seems to me like it's a really lucrative appointment that can put you in the public eye. And it can be very financially, stable. But it's a big resume booster for many of you. Okay. So I hope the information is helpful for you guys. I'm going to go into your love reading for this month and see what's in store for you guys. Love, romance, and relationships. Scorpios. Love, romance, and... They mention like getting yourself out of an uncomfortable situation. So I feel some of you going on dates, and the people that you're going on dates with, they're kind of eccentric, and you're not really sure what to do, and so you're trying to excuse yourself from the date. Like you're trying to just, leave the person on the date. And then I'm sensing for some of you, they mention once again, like being in an uncomfortable situation and wanting out. So it could be you're dating people that still live with their families, like that still live with their families. And so when you come over, it's not just, the person you're dating, but it's like all of their family members, and it can feel very crowded. And you're just kind of thinking, well, they're old enough to have their own space and to be out on their own. Why is this happening? So I see that element coming through for people who are newly dating. And then for others, I feel as if there's a relationship partner and you're not really sure, like, are they coming back? Are we, like you're not really sure about the long-term prospects. Are we still together? Should we move forward? Because I feel like it feels a little bit lonely with that person. So emotionally, you guys might not be connecting, or there might be geographical distance. And so you're not really sure, like, is this it? Should I just, stick around? Will they come back? Will we live in the same space? Like, will we share space again? So I feel like you're still kind of hung up on that, okay? And I feel like that person is new. And I feel like it might be circumstances that are kind of causing the rift in the relationship, not so much the emotions, because it feels like they're honest. So you've got some pretty good cards so far. Okay, so let me talk about the foundation. I feel like a lot of people are watching this, and I feel like, even cross-watching too. So the foundation is something that you know to be true. It's already been like, it has already revealed itself in the previous months. And it's something that you might have a hard time accepting. So first of all, I have here the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords basically indicates a separation. It could be a physical separation, a divorce, a breakup, or just, a situation where you cannot live with another person anymore. For some of you, you might have been dealing here with a fire sign. This is the Queen of Wands, okay? This is a really honest, loving type of a person. And I feel as if, so, forgive me for saying, but this is somebody that is looking for something to love, looking for something to nurture. They're really caring. They have a good heart. They love, children, animals, and things like that. And I feel as if this is the person where I feel like they did a lot of things behind the scenes that you hadn't thought about. And with their presence no longer in the picture, or with them out of the picture, it started to dawn on you. How do I do this? So and so has always done it in the past, and now you don't know how to do it. And so I feel like this person, when they were in the picture, you might have taken them for granted, or they might have done so much behind the scenes without complaints, without, without wanting that fanfare. And now that they're gone, you're dealing with separation anxiety. So they might be gone for good, or they might be, separated from you for a certain period of time. And you're finding yourself in this state. You're finding yourself like, I can't take care of myself on a practical level. And you're finding yourself like financially, if you shared assets or finances with this person, you're finding yourself kind of like financially drained a little bit as a result of this breakup, as a result of this separation. And then for others, I feel like there was a bad relationship here that has ended with an earth sign. So a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And for whatever reason, this person drained your financial resources, okay? We have here the King of Cups in the reverse. And when it's in the upright, it's a very, very noble, a very nurturing, a very loving person. When it's in the reverse position, I feel like this person spent beyond their means. And if you live with them and share assets with them, they might have spent your money thinking that it was appropriate, or they might have been really, really extravagant with money. So the two of you had trouble saving money. So it feels almost like once they're out of your life financially, things really perked up. Things really picked up. And that's when you know energetically that you're with the wrong person, because they block other blessings from coming into your life. So I feel like this might have been somebody from the past. Okay. And because you have dealt with this person, this person that that you have to take care of, it's really nice for you when you meet somebody that is willing to take care of you. So when you're in a space where you have a partner that really is, they're very thoughtful, they're very considerate, they take care of things behind the scenes, they don't complain, and they do everything for you, it makes you feel really appreciative. But I also have to say, Scorpio, and I mentioned this with the Aquarius reading, a lot of the times, when we oscillate from one extreme to the other, we learn to appreciate the good person. We learn to appreciate the right thing. So what I mean by this is, I feel like you had a partner in your past that you had to take care of. And now that that person's out of the picture, you're going to the opposite end of the extreme where you have somebody that is taking care of you. And so I have to ask you, why does it have to be so extreme? Are we capable and fully, capable of taking care of ourselves? And so if you're with somebody because you're just like, oh, they're so different from my ex, I had to take care of my ex, whereas this person is taking care of me, you want to really think about, the real reason why you are in that relationship, and whether or not you love them or whether or not you don't mind you just being taken care of. And you're not the type to, allow other people to take care of you and just, take advantage of them. I don't feel that's the case. But you want to examine, why do things have to be so extreme? Why is it like one end of the spectrum to the other? Can you find somebody that can meet you halfway, that can, do the give and take with you in equal increments so that it doesn't have to be so unbalanced all the time? So just be careful about that. I'm seeing this as well. If you were in a relationship with somebody that, couldn't take care of themselves, and towards the end of that relationship, I feel like you were very resentful. I also want to say that I feel like, you're a sign that really cares about control. And I also feel like when you're with somebody that can't take care of themselves, that seems out of control, it allows you to be the person to step up, to be in control. So in a way, it's almost like your emotional needs were being met because you wanted control. You wanted to take care of another person, and you wanted to be that pillar of strength in that relationship. And if that sounds familiar, what we have to really think about is the equal give and take in a relationship. And we have to really think about as well that relationship is a two-way street. Okay, a healthy relationship cannot be built when one person is doing everything. Okay, that can be you, even if you don't mind it. I just feel like that's very unbalanced. And then it could be the other person, if they feel like they're the one doing everything behind the scenes and they're not getting the reciprocity, they can become very very resentful. So the resentment, I feel, is coming in belatedly, but there are some deep innate issues that you need to look out for when you start dating, okay? We're not supposed to be here to play martyr for anybody else, to take care of other people and to, do that. It's a two-way street. So I want you to be careful of that, okay, Scorpios? Let me talk about the crowning energy. We have here an air sign. So this is somebody that some of you are thinking about. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, sun, moon, or rising. And this is someone who is really, really honest, very intelligent, very smart. They might like animals. Based on this deck, I feel like this is somebody that cares about communication, and they care about not just that they're right or who's right and who's wrong, but I feel like they want to get to the bottom of things. They're operating from the positive side of an air sign, where they care, but they also will ask you questions to make sure that you have thought things through. So they're not just, blindly going to support you. They're going to ask you follow-up questions. They are also a source of like a wealth of information. So if you really want to get unbiased feedback, unbiased opinions, unbiased advice, you definitely can come to this person. And I feel like you really appreciate this person and you know that they have a lot to offer. It's linked up here with the Nine of Coins. And the Nine of Coins is sort of like the single person. So I feel like some of you are still heavily involved with this air sign. You could be still romantically linked up with them. And because you feel like this person is very abundant. They have a lot of financial backing. They have a lot of skills. They're incredibly intelligent and they're just very prosperous all the way around. So I feel like you're involved with this person and you really like them. And then for others of you, you have this person in your midst and you're trying to figure out, do they like me? Should I, give it a try? I feel like the answer is yes, because with the Nine of Pentacles, it's basically somebody that, it's somebody who's very attractive and they have a lot of suitors. So I feel like it would be in your best interest to try to make a move before they're snatched up. And then I feel for some of you who are thinking about this person, you might have been broken up. You're thinking that this person might get snatched up very quickly if you don't make a move or if you let them go in some way. Okay, so there's this, you're assessing this person and you're thinking, this is a really good catch. I want to keep them by my side. I want to have them in my pocket almost. And so I want to urge you again, is it really love? Or is it just this sense of possessiveness? Okay, so be careful about that, Scorpios. In the past, we have here the Page of Cups and the Temperance card. So Scorpios, you were dealing with somebody that was potentially very toxic. The Page of Cups, I don't feel like it's necessarily a water sign. It could be, but I don't feel like it's a water sign. I feel like there is somebody that had a lot of issues with emotional ups and downs, emotional regulation, emotional like modulation. So they might have, they might have issues when it comes to alcoholism. They might have had issues when it comes to prescription medication. They might have had some issues and like emotional swings, like depression, anxiety, things like that. And so the spectrum is very broad, but I feel like you were dealing with somebody that, at their best, they're very sweet and very caring here, like the Page of Cups. But at their worst, they can be very jealous, very untrusting, very, I want to say like a little bit on the vindictive side. They might withhold affection. They might run away when things get rough, when the reality hits. They don't know how to regulate their emotional responses. So I feel like you were dealing with somebody like that in the past. And just out of sheer self-preservation, I feel like you had to let this go. And so I don't feel like it's a bad person, but I feel like they have some issues that they needed to work through. And I also feel like you might even have children with this person. And just for the whole, idea of self-preservation, you had to let the relationship go because it was bringing you down with it. Okay. Which brings us to the present moment. We have here the Eight of Coins, which is you focusing heavily on rebuilding your empire, rebuilding your wealth, looking at opportunities as well as job opportunities and even dating opportunities from outside. So this is kind of like the magician in the making. You have a lot of opportunities coming through. You might even be sending out pieces of yourself to the world, like to other people, such as online dating, kind of like getting your feet wet, talking to some people, talking to a few people that might be soliciting you for dates. So I feel like some of you are coming into this month newly single, and you have learned that the past was very destabilizing, but with the Fool in the reverse position, this is like doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. So I mentioned earlier, Scorpios, there are a few relationship patterns that you need to try to break. And the first one being, just because you have a shared history with somebody, it doesn't mean like they're good for you. So seeing truly what's really good for you and what's really good for your soul's purpose, and don't be in denial about that. Okay, that's very crucial. So even if you care about this person and they have a lot of emotion